Hello, hello. Ah, damn it. All right, well, failed the mic check again. We're 3.5 minutes in. I'm probably going to cut the first 3 minutes of that. You can see, I'll leave in the first 5-10 seconds so you can see the hilarious failed sound check. But there you go. I've done the rundown. Recapped why Scott's not here. Let's just 3, 2, 1. And we're rolling. All right, MLB Mondays. Thank you to the Patreon for checking it out, for supporting on us. Patreon continues to grow, which we appreciate. Lots to talk about today. We're going to start with some sad news out of Boston. We'll get to that. We'll just rip that Band-Aid right off, move on from there. There's a few articles on MLB.com that I want to get. MLB.com. Sometimes I trip on my words and I almost faint just because I'm so flustered. And that was the moment right there. So we're going to look at MLB 2023 stat leaders. I haven't looked at any of these, so we're going to go into these blind together. MLB 2023 stat leaders. We're going to go through the most essential player for every postseason team. That'll be fun. Top 50 players in the postseason. We'll see how many Blue Jays crack the top 50. I'm interested to see if there's any surprising names or how high a guy like George Springer maybe ranks on this list, where, he's one of the top guys. He's not Bo or Vladdy, but is he higher than Bo or Vladdy because he has that postseason experience? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. So we'll go through that together. Then we are going to go through the Anthony Castrovince. I don't know how to say this name. We're going to go through his 12 postseason lineups and pitching staffs ranked. We'll see what the Blue Jays stack up there as well. MLB power rankings for the postseason. We'll do that as well. So probably going to be pretty similar to this other article, but we're going to look at Will Leach and his opinion instead. Again, we'll see how the Blue Jays stack up. I haven't read any of these articles, so we'll see how things shake out. It'll be an interesting one. It'll be a good one. And then we're going to end with this. Just a little bit of fun here. We'll fill out our MLB postseason bracket, make our predictions, hop on, do it yourself. If I was better at this, we'd figure out a way to track it, and we'd have prizes for all of you, but there's not. This ProLine one, MLB.com/bracket/postseason-CA, that's the Canada one. It is a $50,000 grand prize if you do the best. I'm sure there's tiebreakers involved. But yeah, it's cool. Pretty sure it's free to enter. So there you go. All right, before we get to it, I will start with the fact that it is cold outside. It's currently 6 degrees outside, and the weather is dropping to about 1 degrees overnight. It can be frosty soon. So if you have plants outside, if you have succulents on your back porch, bring them inside, because that first frost of the year will kill them. I had a pretty sweet little succulent bonsai tree that I was growing last year, and it was an outside plant that was getting sunlight, and then I left it out there too long, got into October, should have brought it inside. It frosted overnight, and it shriveled up and died, and I was pretty devastated. So get your plants inside. I got a couple more fall ball games to get in myself. I got one tonight, and then the finals are tomorrow. If we win tonight, should be good. Recap. What else? Sorry, I'm just trying to not say something for the third time that I've already ran through once without my mic on, and then again, but I don't want to leave anything off that I didn't do the second time with my mic on. Zoom watch parties. We are going to do a watch party on Zoom this Wednesday afternoon, Minnesota versus Toronto. I'm going to try and do one for every postseason game. Nope, that came out wrong. I'm going to try to do one postseason game in every round that the Blue Jays are involved in. So if we advance, we'll get one in the next round. If they advance, we'll get one in the next round. Not doing one once the Jays are eliminated. It is what it is. So be it. But in the meantime, Wednesday on Zoom. That's that. Scott is going to be at the games in Minnesota. That's why he's not here today. He's on a flight. I was talking with him last night after long toss. He wanted to head down to Tampa Bay. He almost booked his flights. Looked into it. They were so expensive from Calgary to Tampa Bay. Just cost prohibitive. Wasn't able to go. But the way game 162 shook out, Blue Jays in 6th place, now heading to Minnesota for that series. So flights to Winnipeg, much cheaper. Scott flying to Winnipeg with his wife, driving from Winnipeg down to Minnesota. So Scott will be there if you're in Minnesota, and I think there's going to be a fair number of Canadian fans making the trek down. There you go. Maybe we'll get Scott to hop on Zoom and join us for the watch party for a couple minutes. But yeah, pretty cool. I like our chances against the Twins, but we'll get to that more in a minute. What else do we got? I missed long toss yesterday. My kid had her first hockey game of the season. I guess we had technical difficulties. The stream was supposed to go live, and then I don't know what happened. I think it was a technical glitch on my side. I set it up. It was going for like 2 minutes, and then I left. And by the time I was done at hockey, I was just seeing the messages laughing at us for being idiots for having that 2-minute live stream on YouTube that Scott just had a sign up that said we'll be going live at 4 o'clock or whatever. And I'm so flustered I could faint. I need a little bit of coffee in me. I was up late last night, probably 2 a.m. before I got to bed, and then had to get up at 6, take my kid to school. Oh, you hear that sound? I don't know if the mic picked that up. The click. Starbucks pumpkin spice latte in the glass. We'll see if this is any good. Whoa. The aroma. You know, it's that's too sweet for me. You know when the smell hits your nose before the liquid even hits your tongue? Yeah, that was that experience there. Okay, my kids' game. We won 13-3. It was a good game. My kid plays defense. She did not score. She had like 5-6 shots on net. A nice little end-to-end rush. And got our team's first penalty of the year, which is 3 years in a row now that she has gotten the first penalty of the year. So, yeah, doing Dad proud. It was pretty nice. I won't get into it. It's not a hockey podcast. This is not a minor league female hockey podcast, as entertaining as that might be. Anybody that's new to the show, about a month ago, Scott and I discussed one of these like gossip podcasts about a dance studio. It was a woman who was running a dance studio in Kamloops, which is my hometown, so that's why it's relevant. She's running this dance studio. Been running it for 20 years. It's like the biggest dance studio in Kamloops. Turns out she had a podcast that she was running with her like front desk receptionist, and they were just like gossiping and shit talking all of their customers and clientele, and how like, just like the cringiest, like shittiest things that they could say about literally the nicest people in the world who were just putting their kids in an activity, and it's pretty cringy, to be honest. So that's kind of where my brain went, where I was like, oh, if I did a minor league female hockey podcast, that's probably how it would not be my intention, but that's how it would be interpreted, as me just shit talking all these girls that are frustrating me at hockey. And it's like, oh, race the puck. Win a face off, you idiot. Hold the... Okay. Anyways, I digress. Monday morning mailbag. MLB Mondays. Monday morning mailbag. That's tomorrow. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and we're rolling. MLB Mondays. Welcome, Patreon. We're not doing a rundown. We're getting right to it. I did the rundown 3 times now. First time, Mike wasn't on. Second time, Mike was on. Third time was still kind of part of the second time, but I just brain farted and went on a tangent. So all that's probably getting cut. I might forget to, though. So if you see it, my apologies. We're at the 14-minute mark now. Hopefully I remembered to edit that out. And if not, welcome to the 14-minute mark of MLB Mondays. We got a lot to talk about today. Let's get right to it. We're going to start with the old Tim Wakefield, knuckleballer. He was a beauty. Dies at 57. Cancer, I believe. I don't want to spend too much time on this. Tim Wakefield, knuckleballer, dead at 57. I will shed no tears. He is a old man who passed away. If that makes me heartless, I have a rule in life. This is where I come from. I can empathize with you if you know someone personally, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, whatever, and they pass away and they are old. And I'm counting 57 as old, honestly. I'm counting 30 as old. But the older you are, the less I'm crying for you. To die of old age is an absolute blessing that most people never get to experience. Yeah, I grew up in a small town where there was a kid who was dying of cancer, and he was like 4. And I just remember like every grocery store, movie mart, gas station that you went into, there was like the donation tin for like cancer treatments for this kid. And I just remember how much that like broke my heart, and I couldn't understand it as a 12-year-old, like why that would happen. So, I guess, yeah, I would way rather everybody died at 57, like Tim Wakefield, than have anyone ever have to die at 4 or younger. So Tim Wakefield, congrats. You'll be missed, but not by me. Sorry if that makes me cold and heartless. You had a life better than most could have ever dreamt of. So 57, pretty good run you had. Enjoy it. And yeah, moving on to the next one. All right. MLB 2023 stat leaders. All of these are going to be Shohei Ohtani, right? Home runs, Shohei Ohtani with 44. He only played like 130 games this year, still led the American League in home runs. That's pretty crazy. Matt Olson leading the way in Atlanta. Wow, Atlanta's so good, eh? Batting average, we got Yandy Diaz. Tampa Bay hit 330. Oh, Luis Ariz managed to hit 354 this season. That's good. 400 as late as June 24th. Wow. What's that? April, May, June. That's like 3 months at 400. That's pretty good. That's pretty darn good. 314 post All-Star break. Still pretty good. Still pretty darn good batting title for him there. RBIs, nobody cares about except for me. Kyle Tucker with Houston hit 112. Cool. Still not a fan of Houston, so I'm not going to celebrate them too much. Matt Olson, 139 RBI season. Well, when you hit, 54 home runs? 54 home runs for Matt Olson. That'll help you get some RBIs, so that makes sense. Estuary Ruiz, the rookie out of Oakland, swiped 67 bags. That's wild. I gotta sneeze. Hold on. That was a good one. Probably woke my wife up. She's probably not thrilled. She worked night shift last night. NL. And your MLB leader, Ronald Acuna Jr., 73 bags. That's nuts. Also, first member of the 40 home run, 70 stolen base club. That's wild. The craziest thing to me is just that you would even let your 40 home run MVP candidate steal 70 times. That seems like irresponsible almost. But Ronald Acuna Jr., like one of the most exciting players in baseball, probably going to be the cover of MLB The Show next ball season, I would imagine. Although, I mean, maybe they go with somebody like, what's that kid in Cincinnati? Ellie De La Cruz. Maybe they go with something like that. I don't know. The Jazz Chisholm cover athlete for this season's edition threw me off, but there you go. Statcast barrels. Otani hit 70. There you go. Ronald Acuna Jr. also 86 barrels. There you go. Anybody not familiar with barrels? I think it's hit trajectory between 15 and 30 degrees launch angle, I think. I might have that misunderstood. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. I know there's going to be some people watching this that are like, what are barrels? But it's barreled balls, and it's like essentially like a good contact statistic. It's like the launch angle that you want, where it's not just a straight up to the pitcher fly ball, but it's not a ground ball into the dirt. It's like hard line drives that. Anyways, there you go. Correct me on the exact measurement of what a barrel is. Okay. There we go. Pitching. Oh, look at this. Wins. Chris Bassett led the American League in wins this season with 16. That's crazy to me. Crazy to me that 16 wins gets it done. Holy smokes. I was going to say, did we even get a 20 game winner in the National League? Spencer Strider with 20. We had one 20 game winner in Major League Baseball this year. That's crazy. Crazy stuff. Zach Eflin with 16 for Tampa Bay. Boy, Tampa Bay. I mean, I'm happy about this matchup with Minnesota, but Tampa Bay is ripe for the picking too. They are hobbled. They are depleted, whatever word you want to throw at them. They are a good team that is missing a lot of star pitching, a lot of star players. But all right, ERA, Garrett Cole, 2.63. That's pretty nice. Blake Snell, 2.25. I don't have the stats pulled up in front of me. I might Google them on my phone. But Blake Snell had a wild stretch here. Let's look at his game log. Baseball reference. Here's a question for everybody. Answer me in the comments because I'm genuinely curious. When you're looking up stats, do you use baseballreference.com? Do you use Fangraphs? Or do you use some other third-party website? Or do you use MLB.com? There you go. You got 4 choices. You got Baseball Reference, Fangraphs, MLB.com, or some other option I didn't list. Maybe like ESPN or Sportsnet or whatever. If that's the case, list up. Maybe I'll put a poll up later today. And we'll figure it out. But I don't know. I don't want to say I know. I do Baseball Reference. I'm 99% sure Scott does Fangraphs. I don't use Fangraphs much at all, and it's not even for a good reason. I think when I started looking up baseball stats, I was just Googling like baseball stats, and I don't know if Baseball Reference just has better like search engine optimization, but it was always the first result listed, like Dalton Varsho stats. Baseball Reference would be like the number 1 search result. So I would look at it, and when you do that for 400 times and you're using the same site every time, you start to get familiar with, under which tab do I find this? Under which page of this particular thing do I find the barrel rate for Shohei? Like all the different things that you're looking for, and you just get familiar with an interface more than anything. So my impression is, or my understanding is, that Fangraphs is the superior website for looking up stats. Might even be a better interface, a better user experience. But sorry, I'm looking up game logs here. But when you're comfortable with something, even if it's lower quality, you'll suffer through. So what was it? I think it's his ERA since May 1st. Like insane numbers. Yeah, 1.2 ERA for Blake Snell since May 25th. So he had a bit of a rough start to the season. 3 earned runs, 4 earned runs, 3, 2, 2, 3, 2, 2, 6. But then after that, it was like the numbers were off the charts. Anyways, my point being, I use baseballreference.com. I know it's probably not the best. I know Fangraphs is probably better. On occasions, I have used Fangraphs, and I'm always impressed with the amount of data that they have. But again, comfort factor. I do baseball reference just because I know where to look, even if it's clunkier. Visually, Fangraphs is much more eye candy. The visual appeal of it is nicer. Baseball reference is very like Excel spreadsheet feel to it. Not a lot of cosmetics going on. Maybe it's my autism that appreciates that. It's just like blah. Anyways, strikeouts. Gary Gossman. There you go. Toronto 237. Gary Gossman was a strikeout machine once again in 2023 and stands as one of the just 5 pitchers to strike out at least 200 batters in each of the last 3 seasons. Corbin Burns, Dylan Cease, Cole, Nola, and Gary Gossman. There you go. Spencer Strider. Ooh, 281. Now that is a lot of strikeouts. Man, those Atlanta Braves are going to be good. Holy smokes, they're going to be tough to beat this postseason. Yeah, 281. That's a lot. John Smoltz, 276 in 1996. 300. 300 feels like a mega milestone. When's the last 300? If you're watching this or listening to this, I'm going to look it up. While I'm looking it up, you guess along at home. When was the last MLB 300 strikeout season? I feel like anybody who plays MLB The Show on PlayStation or Xbox is already going to know, because there's probably like one of those special cards that they release. Okay, look at this, MLB.com. Holy smokes. Spencer Strider at 281 sure got close. So according to MLB.com, only 19 pitchers in the modern era. So that is since 1900. So in 123 seasons, only 19 pitchers have reached 300 Ks in a single season. That's wild. I mean, looks like a bunch of them did it, or some of them did it a bunch of times. Randy Johnson did it 93, 98, 99, 2000, 2001, 2002. Randy Johnson was so dominant. If you're a new baseball fan, go watch Randy Johnson highlights. I mean, the first one that pops up is going to be him hitting that poor bird and feathering it. One of the wildest highlights in all of sports. But yeah, Randy Johnson. Nolan Ryan did it a bunch. Kurt Schilling. Sandy Koufax. Pedro Martinez did it twice. J.R. Richard. Sam McDowell. Walter Johnson. Most of these names don't mean much to me. Rube Waddell. 1903, 1904. Justin Verlander did one in 2019. There you go. That's probably the most recent. Garrett Cole also did it in 2019. Okay, there we go. Max Scherzer in 2018. Chris Sale, 2017. Oh, yeah, this is like dead ball era of baseball, isn't it? Clayton Kershaw, 2015. Mike Scott, 1986. Michael Scott, Dunder Mifflin. Steve Carlton, 1972. Mickey Lolich, Vita Blue, Bob Feller. There you go. Okay, so most recent 300 strikeout season then looks like Garrett Cole and Justin Verlander 2019. So that's more recent than I would have guessed. More recent than I would have guessed. Saves. Emmanuel Clase with 44. Camilo Doval and David Bednar. How many did Jordan Romano have? I know he was up there. Jordan Romano, how many saves? Looks like 36 saves on the season. So, pretty good season for old Jordan Romano. Fielding, outs above average. Kevin Kiermaier, look at that. Plus 13. Pretty good. Kevin Kiermaier, the all-time leader in outfield, outs above average. This is so dumb. Since 2016, the all-time leader. Don't even say the all-time leader. That's so misleading. I hate this so much. I'm triggered right now. I know a lot of these are like, well, he's the leader in barreled balls in the StatCast era since they started tracking that. It's like, okay, that's fine, but don't fucking say all-time leader. This is so annoying. Say Kevin Kiermaier in the history of StatCast or whatever is the leader in no, yeah, just all time. It's not all time. Ugh. Sorry, I'm getting hung up. Okay, let's move on then. Brenton Doyle, Colorado, plus 16. I wonder where Dalton Varsho was. Okay. Anyways, that's at a glance your 2023 MLB stat leaders. Okay, let's move on from there. All right, this has been your free portion of MLB Mondays. How's that for a sneak peek for you? If you enjoyed this so far and you want to hear the last half hour of today's episode, please consider heading on over to the Walkoff Doc, patreon.com/the Walkoff Podcast to get the full episode of MLB Mondays. Not to mention all the other stuff. Early access. Yesterday's episode of Long Toss went up on the Patreon right away. We had technical difficulties. I don't know what happened, but it's up for the Patreon right away. It will be out on YouTube later today, but there you go. $4 a month also gets you access to the Discord. And again, we are doing a live Zoom watch party of Wednesday's game against the Twins. Please consider supporting the channel. I appreciate you as always. Cheers and go Jays go.